you need to look at the lifestyle of a woman. You need to be nosy. You need to actually look at how she lives, how she operates, the kind of ways that she speaks when you're kind of not around or someone important is not around. It's critical. Doesn't matter if she has a Range Rover, doesn't matter how she looks like, doesn't matter if she's got a Bugatti Veyron. You need to see that there are women that are purely using their image, using how they socialize to come across a certain way and try to get whatever that they desire. Because a lot of life is, for women especially, is desire. Of course, this applies for men as well, but I'm going to focus this structure more on women. They use more of their looks and their, I guess, status to deceive. I know that when you get to the stage of 6 out of 10 and above in looks, you definitely get validation from people that you don't deserve. People treat you good even if you treat people like crap. Even if you're wrong about something, they'll say that you're right. I think this term might be called a halo effect. I wasn't familiar with it, so I'm newly learning the halo effect as well. But pretty much the guess I'm having here also is the more you look good, the more of a halo effect you kind of get. The more benefits you get, the more people side with you and the more validation you get. That's the key focus here. The more validation you get. And women chase this validation from looks, as I've said. How do you chase that validation from looks? You put on makeup, for example. Guys usually don't put on makeup. Makeup is marketed for women because, okay, beauty is important. But why is beauty important? I feel like this question, many people, they don't ask themselves why it's important. And so when you do a bit of reflection, you see that the beauty is something to be used, something to gain. And that's what they usually do. They gain from you. They want to reach higher levels that they hope for. Hoping is kind of a key thing in their journey. I was caught up in a trap where there is snakes, where there is sharks, where there is piranhas. The woman might look innocent and might look like a bubbly, uwu kind of nice woman or like a cute girl, innocent vibes. She's not that way at all. And you can tell this from her behavior, as I've said, her lifestyle, her habits. And the way that she approaches problems is absolutely critical. A large part of immaturity, I didn't really deep this, I didn't really think about this, but it hits me more and more of how serious this situation is. This is more painful than gambling, this is more painful than alcohol addiction, this is more painful than losing your home outright. You just lose your home in one night, let's say to a fire. It's more painful than that. And that is because of a range of reasons I'm not going to get into, but they degrade you. They degrade your life by being with you and by accounting you as less of a person, less of a man, for the very least. What happened was this kind of piranha attack, now that I call it, but it was more of a, she was looking at the problems in her life, such as there was a man that was going to help her out to find details about, I don't know what it was on, I can't remember because it was 3 years ago, but there was a man that promised her to help her out, and he didn't. He answered back like he's busy and he can't help her at the moment. And she got unhappy about that. We were sitting in the living room and she was sitting opposite, counts as, from me, and she had that kind of submissive look, had that kind of puppy kind of look. It's kind of the attention that you would probably see from a 15-year-old, 10-year-old. Could be a girl, could be a guy, but they would probably act in this way. You'd see, you know. And that's how she was acting, except she is 27, 28 years old. And she's acting in that way. She tries to rescue her looks from makeup, but it's not to be rescued. As you can see, guys usually, like myself, got no makeup. I am as I am. And that's a value that is being missing from the modern society currently today. This past, especially 10 years, the no filter has been underrated. And they don't want to accept how they are. So they're in the delusion mode of, hopefully if I present myself as if I am a 6, 7 out of 10, then I will be that way, which is bullshit. It's a bunch of rubbish. You don't imagine you're a millionaire, for example, and you become a millionaire. That's the reason why. It's not. It might affect it, but the core of it is not there. So she sat opposite to me and she had that kind of look, that vulnerable kind of look, that waiting for validation kind of look. Waiting for this kind of hero, this kind of person to feel bad for her. And you want people to feel bad for you. You want your mum to feel bad for you right next to you. You want my dad right next to me to feel bad for you. Which he was, because my dad's type is silly. His mouth is watering with these kinds of exterior looks. And he doesn't care if a girl is childish or not. He's hungry. So that's what I remember, and it was quite uncomfortable. It's quite irritating. It's just silly. You're wasting your time with someone that is childish. I don't have time for that. So they look for validation. They're looking for people to feed them. And it's toxic, and it leads to a person that is shallow, hollow, trying to find a meaning to feel good. Life is just to feel good in her eyes. In her, what she's used to is to feel good. And I know myself more so well now compared to the past. Even then I knew myself well. That's not something I want in my life. I don't care how you look like. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care what kind of Lamborghini you got. I don't care. Because it's destructive. It's a destructive lifestyle, outlook, behavior patterns. And it destroys yourself. It will destroy the family. It will destroy yourself. It will. When will it happen? I don't know. I don't know if it will take 2 months, 3 years, even 20 years. But there will be a big wreckage. Yeah. I've seen a lot of suffering from this, from my own parents. My dad was like the slave, my mum the master. And if my dad wasn't working, my mum had the mentality of, I'll kick him out the door if he's not going to be working. This guy is, by the way, age 55, 60, he's retiring. It's completely fine if he doesn't work. I think he was 55 at the time. Something like that, or 56. Which she will kick him out the door if he stops working. Just think about it. There's no ending. There is no amount of feeding her that is enough. Only until death you can rest. And this kind of mentality of, you should cater towards me. I'm the queen. That kind of vibes I got from her as well. Not only from my mum, but from that woman too. The Turkish woman that I mentioned before comes from trying to be a lawyer, comes from a rich family. That's what she's trying to do. She thinks she's a queen. You know. If she is not looking after herself, she's not going to be looking after. She's going to be neglecting the kids, if there is kids in the future. And for me, this is a very serious topic, because if any woman in my life that I'm being with, if they're neglecting the kids, if they're neglecting me, if they're neglecting themselves, it's very serious. I don't tolerate that whatsoever, zero. And that, I think, that is the end-all be-all kind of advice that I can give to men today. You know, that is, it might be number one. It might be at the top of the list. It is just so important, and it's not educated to people. It's not looked at as critical. But I've seen the consequences firsthand, in person. And I know this was one of the main reasons. Before my dad was with my mum, she was toxic. She behaved childish. She was entitled, even when I was a kid. One of the things that my mum would do is she would smoke in the car. She wouldn't care that I'm in the car also. She would smoke in the house, in the kitchen, and the home would smell of smoking, cigarettes and whatnot. And it would irritate me, it would irritate my throat. That's how I could tell, even without seeing her smoke, I would know that she's smoking, because it would irritate my throat, it would burn. She would kick me out the door when I wouldn't eat food, when I was... she did that once or twice, but there was a lot of emotional abuse, definitely, when I was young. The entitlement, that's the point that I want to stand on at the moment for this video. The lifestyle that they live, if they think they're a queen, if they think they're some sort of way, in this way or that way. Because how they behave then is how they behave in the future also. That mentality still stays the same. Just because she gets married to you, that mentality doesn't change. It's not like magic and she starts to be a good woman and wife and in general be a good person. No, it will be that way. So do not fall for these lies. Do not fall for whatever that she says. Whatever that she says in that point. Oh no, you misunderstand me, you read me wrong, blah 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 blah. She tries to present herself in some sort of valuable way. She takes a photo of herself looking, mature, modern, open-minded, considerate woman. No, don't buy it. Be nosy, research her life, look at the way that she even sleeps, the way that she does this, does that, does cooking, what kind of products she buys, her habits, because that will tell you everything that you need to know about her. It doesn't come from the mouth. The mouth is full of fluff, for of course it's not for all people, but the best way to get to know a woman is by just look at her lifestyle and habits. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.